What's up, y'all? This is Ian again with Dayton Hardwood Company. I am your favorite hardwood floor sander. That's me in the video that you're looking at. I run my business all alone. Well, I'm the only employee on the job. My lovely wife helps me do the boring stuff from behind the scenes, but I like to tell y'all a little bit how my business goes, just so you know who you're learning from. I am a one-man operation, and that's by choice. I've had employees before, but I like to work alone for a lot of reasons. I've written articles about it in Wood Floor Business, all about living the American dream. There's blogs about that on my website, and I'm happy to make a video and tell you guys all about that sort of stuff too if you want to hear about it. But you didn't come here to hear about me running my business. You came here to watch me run this Hummel on this really cool old floor. This is rift and quarter sawn white oak or red oak, I believe mostly. But it's mixed probably too, because this house was built in 1845 in Bellbrook, Ohio. This is one of the oldest homes that I get to work on around here. Usually the homes I work on are about 100 years, 80 years older or newer than this, like 1900, 1920, sometime in that region is a lot of the homes I work on. So this one's super old. It was a custom built farmhouse in a really cool little spot. So if you look really close in those air returns, you can see a joist running all the way through that floor from top to bottom on the screen. I ran my knife across the top of one of those joists because I was super curious about its content. And sure enough, the joists are 2x12 solid oak also. If you look really close, you can see top nails on this, and you can see them exposed even more as I sand. I had to run a air locker air nailer across this floor and sink in all the top nails. Cast iron cut nails is what they're called. They're like tapered. If you've worked in a really old house before, you've probably seen them. So I had to go through and sink all those in, and I noticed just how difficult it was as I was doing it, and it made me suspect maybe these joists are made out of something harder. So I went and explored and found out. I think that's interesting because 9 out of 10 times, no, I'm sorry, 99 out of 100 times, the joists are made out of pine. So it's really cool to find an old house that is just built like a tank out of oak, because you just don't find that stuff anymore. 2x12 oak in general is hard to find, but especially a whole freaking house joist system made out of it. So anyways, here I am sanding. You can see a really cool archway. That was the exterior of the house at one point. This thing has been built in sections, so I'm in the like middle section of the home. My phone is on a set of stairs, which is how we're getting this cool angle right now. The stairs are awesome too. There's like a 12-inch rise on one of them, because that's just how old houses were. There was a spot to maybe halfway fit some stairs, so they maybe halfway fit some stairs. This floor is not flat at all. I don't think it's ever been sanded professionally. I could see some edger marks and some like DIY disaster marks on it before I got started, but I'm really having to sand the hell out of it. That's why you see me going at a 45-degree angle, and you'll see me kind of change directions here and there and peck at it from different ways. And the reason I'm doing that is to get it as flat as possible and to assist my cutting as much as possible. So when I change directions and kind of peck at it from different ways, that's usually to relieve a little stress on the belt, to give a little cool time, I guess you could say, rather than like kind of blasting across this whole surface all at once in one constant cut, because that's going to create a lot of friction, make a lot of heat, not give the belt a lot of time to disperse all that stuff, and cause some premature wear. I'm testing out the Burger Seidel Abra Prime belt right now. I saw some stuff on social media about them being really great. I got my hands on one of the belts, and I am here to tell you I'm very underwhelmed. It's old technology. There's zirconia belts. They're unidirectional, meaning you can only run them one direction because they were manufactured in a sub-quality way. The backing isn't super heavy. The grain isn't super consistently applied on the surface of the belt, and it also just doesn't last that long. My really good friend recommended it to me. He told me that the Abra Prime lasts twice as long as Blaze Plus, which is a Norton product, and I don't think that's true even a little bit. So I'm gonna have to ask him what the hell's going on with that opinion. I have a feeling it's sponsored in some way, but that's common in this industry. People's opinions are not necessarily their own. A lot of times, their opinions are because they're trying to make friends. Their opinions are because they want to get a job as a salesman later after contracting, or just because they're sad dorks that want approval. So that's one cool part about your boy here and his punk rock mentality. I don't uh, really care to make friends in this industry. I have enough friends, and I'm a loner anyways. So if you want me to try your sandpaper or your machine or your product or whatever, first of all, I'm not going to pimp it on my social media. If you do see me pimp something, I might have got it for free, but I am doing so because I like it and I want to tell you my honest opinion, not because I was told to give a certain opinion. So, yeah, I didn't pay for the burger belt, but it was given to me by a friend, and it sucks. I won't be buying that shit, and it's definitely not worth the price they're charging for it. I don't know. I think burger is a lot of smoke and mirrors, but I'm not here to talk smack about any companies. I'm here to show you how to sand a floor. These old floors end up looking like a deck sometimes with the big gaps on them and the top nails and stuff. I love that effect. I think it's cool as hell. I think it's cool you can see the joist location based on the top nails. And I just think it's cool that the floor is so old and that I get to be the first one to sand it properly in all this time. This is also a historic house that an author lived here from the Dayton area. Her name was Irma Birnbach, I believe. Birnbach. But she was like a columnist in the newspaper and was like a satirist, I guess, to some degree. But I don't know. She wrote articles and things about being a Midwestern housewife in this very house, which I think is cool. I love being a little part of a little bit of history in Dayton. And I love learning about the homes anytime I can. We're hitting a rough spot in the floor. Look real close. You're going to see my drum kind of have these skip spots. And that's not because of how I'm sanding. It's because of the low spots in the floor. So now you're going to see me change direction again with the Hummel because I'm realizing, oh man, I need to peck at this a little bit differently to flatten it out. So, excuse me. I'm a sinusy guy. I'm going to try to get a microphone with like a cough button or something and not make you guys listen to that because I know it's gross. I'm sorry. So change direction here in just a second. I think I'm about to turn around and start pecking at it from the other way, but I don't obviously remember. I know that it's making me feel like I should, and I want to see myself turn around and peck at it from the other way, so we'll see. This, like I said, is a 36 grit belt, and I'm going at about a 45-degree angle. Sometimes I will do that 45-degree angle twice, meaning I will do what you're seeing right now and then change, what would it be, 90 degrees and go the other direction at 45. So I'm getting like a crosshatch pattern. That's on a really, really bad floor that needs flattened out more than this one. So thankfully I only have to 45 degree this one time. So what I always do after the 45 degree, and what you're not going to see in this video, because I have taken up enough of your time with this video, is me putting a new 36 grit belt on and then going parallel with the boards again after I do this. And that's to clean up all my 36 grit crosshatch marks and to flatten it a little bit more and to remove a little bit more finish. Because as you guys know, which I've taught you in previous steps of this process, is that every time you sand your floor, you want that step of the, oh, I almost fell in. You see that? Every time you sand your floor, each step of the process needs to look finished. So even if you're running 36 grit on a belt, you want that floor to look like you could throw finish on it. I know you're not going to, and I know you're not trying to convince anybody that you could, but in the back of your head, you want to think, damn, this thing looks so good, even though it's so rough still. And all of that is to make your next step easier. So when you wake up and go to work the next day, you're happy to be there. That's the same reason we clean our job sites at the end of the day and make sure that the house is clean and the clients are happy and the dogs are pet and the plugs are unplugged and the things are refilled and the trash is empty and all that stuff, because the next day is going to be more successful if we leave ourselves happy the day before. I know all that sounds kind of hippy-dippy, but I've spent years learning this stuff on my own, and hopefully you guys listen and learn little tidbits before you are 40 years old and can spend your career in your 20s not having to make so many mistakes. Not that I made a ton. I've been a successful man for the most part. Thankfully, been able to take care of my family and work for myself for like 12 years now, something like that. But you know what I mean. So we're coming up on like the end. The bottom of the stairs there that you can't see in this video is probably the worst part of the whole floor because it's the highest traffic area. So that's why I'm spending a little more time there too. Currently have Norton Red Heat belt on here. I switched it somewhere halfway through this room. I edited that part out because I gave my middle finger to the burger belt and didn't really want to put that kind of negativity out there. So I just edited it out. But very clearly to me whilst running, and hopefully to you whilst seeing this video, is this second half is cutting so much easier and so much better than the first half. And that, like I said, is a Norton Red Heat belt, and that's you know, their top of the line ceramic affordability belt. But I have Blaze Plus belts too, which are a step above that, and it would probably cut this entire room with one belt, the Blaze Plus, and that was what I was told was not even as good as that Aberprime. So I'm gonna call my buddy and tell him, hey, that sandpaper sucks, and for, you know, whatever reason you're trying to sell it, you should definitely not, because salesmen aren't your friends. They are magicians, dark magicians at that, and they're just exploiting people's labor and exploiting people's ignorance on products and really just selling smoke and mirrors. So like I always say, fuck salesmen and fuck trying to be their friends, because they'll fuck you. So I've been trying not to cuss too in basically all my videos, but you can tell how passionately I feel about salesmen. Want me to make a video about that? Be happy to. Let me know in the comments. I hate salesmen. We're coming up on the end of the video. I forgot to add a selfie at the end of this one like I did the last to guilt you into liking and subscribing and commenting, but please like and subscribe and comment. I hope you learned something from this video, even if you're watching it in silence. Comment below, let me know if you have any questions, if there's anything you want to see in a future video, or just tell me to fuck off. I appreciate you being here, I really do. I love you guys. I hope that you're learning stuff, and I hope that you come back and learn some more in the future. Thanks again for watching. I'm Ian, Dayton Hardwood Company. I love you guys, and I hope that you make some kick-ass floors out there. Have a great day. Peace.